I found out why my husband always volunteers for night shifts at the hospital. My husband Richard had been taking night shifts at the hospital for 3 years. Every single one available he'd sign up for. 12-hour stretches from 7 p.m. to 7 a.m., coming home exhausted, sleeping all day. I worked regular hours, so we were ships passing in the night. It's better money, he'd explain. Night differential adds up, which was true. The extra pay helped with our mortgage. But even when we didn't need the money, he kept taking them. Holidays, weekends, even his birthday. Always the night shift. I started getting suspicious when he turned down a promotion because it was day shift only. Who refuses advancement to keep working nights? Then our neighbor mentioned seeing his car leaving at odd hours when he was supposedly at work. I checked our phone bill. Calls at 3 a.m. when the hospital had strict no personal phone policies. The worst thoughts crept in. Another woman, a secret life, maybe even drugs. I'd heard about medical professionals getting hooked on what they could access. I installed a tracking app on his phone, feeling guilty but desperate for answers. For 2 weeks, the tracker showed him exactly where he said he'd be, the hospital. But then one Tuesday, it showed him across town at 2 a.m., then back at the hospital by 3. The next night, same thing but different location. Always between 1 and 4 a.m., always returning to work after. I decided to follow him. I told him I was staying at my sister's, then parked down the street from the hospital at midnight. At 1:47 a.m., his car pulled out. I followed at a distance, my hands shaking. He drove to a rundown apartment complex on the south side, got out with a medical bag and knocked on a door. An elderly woman answered, crying with relief. He was inside for 40 minutes. Then he drove back to the hospital. The next night, I followed again. Different address, a trailer park. A man with obvious track marks answered. Richard went in with supplies. I was convinced now he was dealing drugs or running some illegal medical practice. The third night changed everything. He stopped at a homeless encampment under the bridge. I watched from my car as he set up a makeshift clinic with a folding table and battery-powered lamp. A line of people formed. Elderly, disabled, addicted, forgotten. He treated them all, bandaging wounds, checking vitals, dispensing basic medications from his own supply. A woman with an infected leg wound cried as he cleaned it. Thank you, doc. ER won't see me no more. Say I come too much. You come as much as you need, Sherry, he said gently. I got out of my car and walked over. Richard saw me and froze. The people scattered, afraid of being reported. Wait, he called out. It's okay. This is my wife. We worked together that night. I held supplies while he sutured cuts. I distributed sandwiches he brought while he treated infected injection sites without judgment. At 4 a.m., we packed up and he returned to finish his shift. In the car, he explained everything. They can't afford the ER. No insurance, no address, no hope. Some are banned for drug-seeking behavior when they're actually in pain. Others are too ashamed of their conditions, so I come when I can. But this is illegal. You could lose your license. I could, but Mary would lose her leg to infection. Robert's diabetes would kill him. Sherry would die from sepsis. Is my license worth more than their lives? He'd been doing this for 3 years, using his own money for supplies, medicine samples, even antibiotics he'd buy from veterinary suppliers when he couldn't get human versions. The night shifts gave him cover. Leave during break times, help who he could, return before anyone noticed. Why didn't you tell me? I asked. How could I ask you to carry this secret? If I get caught, I didn't want you implicated. I thought about it for days. The risk he was taking, the people he was helping, the exhaustion he carried not from the night shifts, but from working 18-hour days to serve people society ignored. I made my decision. Started picking up overtime at my job. Used the extra money to buy medical supplies in bulk. Learned basic first aid to be more helpful. Started joining him once a week, then twice. We've been doing this together for a year now. We've saved limbs from amputation, caught infections before they turned fatal, helped addicts who want recovery but can't afford treatment. We keep detailed anonymous records in case we're ever caught. Evidence that we were helping, not harming. Last month, one of Richard's colleagues mentioned a new free clinic opening on the south side, funded by an anonymous donor. They needed volunteer doctors for night hours. The donor specifically requested Richard run it, having heard about his dedication to night shift work. We never found out who the donor was, but the clinic operates in a gray legal area that protects volunteers. Richard still takes night shifts, but now he spends his breaks at a legal clinic instead of hiding under bridges. The same people come, but now with dignity and proper equipment.